This is Apax Empowered, the design podcast that breaks down the walls of misperceptions surrounding our industry, bringing you new ways of approaching your environment and giving you inspiration for living your best design life. I am Rudolf Jordan, and thank you for choosing to be Apax Empowered. This episode is sponsored by African Jacquard. Welcome to the show, Christine and Donna.
Thank you for having us.
Christine, let's start with you. Your journey began back in 1997 when you first arrived in Cape Town. What was it about Africa that inspired you to make such a bold move into textiles and eventually launch African Jacquard?
Well, in 1997, I didn't even think about fabric. The idea was to settle in South Africa, to start a business with my husband about ship chandling, so nothing to see with textile. But then we export to Angola, then we export to different countries of Africa, and one day, instead of me sending some steel or mechanics or spare parts for oil and gas company, they asked me to decorate houses for their expatriates. And that's slowly starting to have a contact with deco and with fabric. So that's how it started, but it was more in 2002 than 2005, 2008. Then I did hundred of curtains. Then I visited a factory in France, and then I thought, that's what I should do. I should weave tea towel with a taste of Africa. But it took me another 5 years to say, okay, let's go. So I was more in my 50s when I decided to start. So I learned the French process, the jacquard, in France for 1 year, 2 years. And then in 2014, we created African Jacquard, because it was a jacquard process, but in Africa. So that's in short, the full story.
It's incredible how a humble beginning like that can grow into something so much bigger. Donna, you joined African Jacquard in 2020, and yet under your leadership, African Jacquard just seemed to have been flourishing. How did your journey play off?
Christine and I, we had known each other for some time. And I think, the moment we started working together, it was just like sparks and magic. And I think very quickly we realized that nothing could stop us. And any ideas we had, together with our set of skills and our ability and our network, we were just able to put any ideas into action. And, we both knew that African Jacquard had a space in the global market, not just the South African markets. And we started very quickly just sort of strategizing as to how we could start to develop African Jacquard into a household name and start to work with more hospitality establishments like hotels, game lodges, wine farms. As Christine mentioned, we weave on Jacquard looms. So, we have the capability of really weaving intricate patterns and writing into the fabric. And, that was a big portion of the business when I had joined, was what we call customization for other businesses. So, for example, we are, weaving a lot of tea towels for some very well-known wine farms and lodges all over Africa. And, but, there was something there. And we always, all of our designs are inspired by, I guess, what was at first Christine's travels throughout Africa. And, as the business grew, and we're now 25 people, it's now, our travels and our vision of what we see, not only in Africa, but, just, going for a trip away on the weekend or wherever we might be. And we've always liked to, mix different textures and different compositions. So, very quickly we took ideas and started developing it into more collections and kind of like solidifying those collections and giving giving the collections life and breathing life into them. And with that sort of consistency around our branding and the development, we started really developing more and more business around the world, and now we're in over 25 countries.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And it's just, the two of you make such a beautiful dynamic, but like you say, there's a whole team behind it, but now you're in 25 countries.
Yeah. We're in 25 different countries. We're currently 25 people. So it's a good time for us, I guess. Yes, we are in New York twice a year. We're in Paris twice a year, exhibiting at Maison et Objet, which is one of the biggest home decor exhibitions in the world. And we've started doing some other trade shows in North Carolina. And there's so much. There's so much of the world to see, and there's so much of the world, exactly, for African Jacquard to be presented to. So,
now, Donna, what would you say is the secret behind the brand's international success?
The secret behind the brand's international success: hard work.
Well, I suppose many people do hard work. I think it's also the personality of the collection. Actually, we don't follow the trend. Mm-hmm. We follow our heart, we follow who we are. It's also because we have European and African culture, so we think that we try to design, once we have the design, but then the size, the finish, to be able to go in any house in the world. And also the colors, the combination of colors. And sometimes, may I tell a little story? We were at High Point in North Carolina, and just the other stand opposite to us was really earthy colors, natural, all in the beige and the gray. And Donna was like, sometimes we have our depressed face. So she said, maybe we have got too many colors. And just like 5 minutes later, someone arrived without seeing us and said, that is what really I love, the colors. And then she goes straight to the flamboyant.
It's perfect.
You see, Donna, we don't need 1,000 customers. Yes. We need the customer who likes, who are appealed, attracted by our range.
To something special.
That's it. It's special, it's different, that's it.
Yep.
We need people who fell in love with our range.
The consumer market is also very concerned about ethical production, and you use a lot of natural fibers in your materials as well. Don't you think that also plays a big role?
Yeah, I think in general, in terms of soft furnishings, something that you're going to put onto your body, you want a cotton or a linen or bamboo or something natural. There is definitely a space for synthetic fibers in the home decor industry, like outdoor fabric and curtaining and things like that. So the natural fibers, yes, but I think Christine has hit the nail on the head in the terms of we don't follow the trend and we never have. And it's easy for us to open a magazine and see a trending color palette, and we've got the production at our fingertips, but we're not developing for the masses. We want to be unique, and like Christine said, it was definitely this woman, and the timing was so perfect, because really I had a dip and I thought, maybe we're being too daring, maybe we need to blend in more, maybe we need to appeal to more people. And then in that moment, this woman came and said, this is what I've been looking for. And then it actually just kept happening. And that exhibition was incredible, because it did confirm, that what we're doing is correct. And I think that plays a part in the secret of the success as well. Is at the end of the day, we are, we're developing how we want, we're designing how we want, and that's the beauty of it, right?
It's so refreshing to see a brand that is focused on long-lasting quality as well. But you also recently opened your first retail store.
Our third, actually. Yeah. So our first was at the Watershed, at the waterfront in 2021. And then we opened up Stellenbosch in 2022. And then we opened up what is now our flagship store at 53 Church Street in Cape Town. So we like to say in the heart of the city is our new flagship store. And it's a beautiful space. And if anyone hasn't been there, we do highly recommend you go and visit.
We'll most certainly do. I mean, I've been in your retail store and it's absolutely stunning to see your whole product range. And maybe, Christine, you want to elaborate a bit on some of the designs that you are working on?
I just want to come back to the shop first.
Yes.
Because in that shop you can have the experience of the bedroom, of the dining room, of the lounge and the bathroom. So you really see all our products in situations, which always gives more ideas than the stand at the Watershed, where obviously you are welcome to buy some nice souvenir. The collection, it's really inspired by what we see or what we feel like fabric. Because the idea when I started was really to weave scenery of the city of Cape Town for tourists, for our visitors to bring back to wherever they live. And that was a bit of a flop because it was 2014. So, but I can see that today we are coming back to that. So which pleased me a lot.
We sell a lot of tea towels.
Lots of tea towels.
May I add, I'm wearing one of your tea towels and it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
Yes, you
As
can
a scarf.
put it as a scarf.
Colour looks great on you.
So I think tea towel is always a very good product and a good something to have. It's a feature in your kitchen, but also it's an easy gift. It doesn't take space in your luggage. So that is a basic. But in 2014-15, then I spoke to one of my friends who has set up the shop Roche Beaubois. And I said, tea towel, it's not good enough. He said, do something else. Okay, so sometimes you just need this kick, sparkle. And that's where we started the Cuba design, which I love coming. It's inspired by the Cuba fibers that are made in Congo. And I thought, well, my husband was born in the French Congo, next to DRC, where it's made. And I really love those panels of natural fibers put in geometric ways. And I thought, let's get inspired by that and create that design, which took quite some weeks because I wanted as well to do like kikoi. The kikoi is like the futa. It's all different names to say that it's a piece of fabric that you wrap after the beach or just walking on the beach or wherever. So, but I wanted something thicker. I love all those fabric. I always buy wherever I'm traveling, but I wanted to make something a bit thicker with some textures. And that was really done in the kitchen or in my own laundry. Is okay, you wash and you look at the results and you say, that's interesting. And so we started to put different colors together. So I think my strength, if I may say, is I was creating a basis of different designs inspired by fabric or landscape. And when Donna arrived, she said, but this is a collection. I said, no, I was like a bit shy on that. I said, no, but that's what we try. I said, the real story is that I was creating different design to show the customer who wanted to customize that I was able to do something beautiful for them. And Donna says, no, you customize if you want, but we take that
And we sell it.
we sell it.
And we put it together and curate it.
We curate, we say, okay, this color is good, and this size is good, and we fold it like that, and we put the label like that. So that's how it came together.
I really enjoy how your story of experimentation also plays such a critical role in the production of
And
the
still
items.
does.
Yeah.
Critical.
It's all about exploration, and it's always will be.
We need to. We still have surprise, even if we customize and we know, okay, because there will be shrinkage, obviously, and so we have to anticipate that, and then when we do a new product, we think, no, it's going to react like that. Actually not, never. So there is more development. And Donna, she's always, no, more development. For me, no, it's fine. I think we can, no, more development. So we can tell the customer exactly how it's going to react. You can wash it. Because that's a point where I'm very proud of, is that all our products, most of them, not all our products, are washable. Washable at home, not... So, and because we supply many lodges, and they are in the middle of nowhere, usually, they don't have a laundry just next door. They have their own, so they wash them. They put them back on the bed, on the table, and they still look good, and after many years. So that is our pride as well.
And that's the durability of your products. And I want to touch on the hospitality sector. You've recently started penetrating the hospitality sector, supplying to lodges.
For some time, and definitely more and more. I mean, aesthetically, our brand is perfect for a lot of these lodges in Southern Africa and up, East Africa. But like we've been chatting about, the durability of our products. You're getting a premium product that's easy. It's relatively easy to maintain. So they can have these lodges or these hospitality establishments can have these nice big budgets where they can afford these premium products, but know that they can, filter them into their lodges, and the maintenance of it is super streamlined. Like Christine says, a lot of these lodges are in the middle of nowhere. They've got domestic washing machines on site. And we've worked with many lodges that have had, our throws on their beds for nearly a decade and never had to replenish. And that for us is really the goal.
It means something.
So it's really that attention to detail that you guys are adding to your products that is appealing to the hospitality sector, if I'm not mistaken. And speaking of which, have you found that the African story behind your product, or your textiles rather, add an extra layer of appeal to the hotel and resort owners?
Yeah, for sure. I think especially, lodges that are based in Africa, they want to be able to present this level of African excellence to their guests. And that is really what we're trying to achieve with that attention to detail, to know that, this beautiful premium product made from, high quality fibers is manufactured right here in Cape Town, woven and produced, it's really, I think, paying a homage to the competencies of not only South Africa, but of the African continent. And I think a lot of these lodges like to tell that story of African excellence.
Touching on that, let's go through your collection over there that is safari inspired. It's a safari collection, right?
This is the latest safari collection. It's available it's 100% cotton, and it's available in throws, beach towels, and tea towels. So these are obviously super cute. The patterns that they're woven in is a fun zebra and a beautiful giraffe. So tea towels are great. And then, of course, we've got our beach towels. And, I mean, this giraffe weave is just, again, it was something we didn't know how it would feel, And once we've woven the fabric, because we weave everything, 99% of our product has a waffle in it, which is why we elaborated on the shrinkage so much. So everything we produce shrinks, around 10-20% because of the waffle. And sometimes we get that percentage very wrong. And that's why there's always more and more development. But when we wove this fabric and then we washed it to see how it shrank, the handle of the fabric was something that we weren't anticipating. And even how it's a giraffe design, but some people see, especially on this colorway here, some people see like a sort of like a cracked mud pan.
Oh, yes.
Like it's very earthy,
yes,
almost. So we're always exploring new elements of our products, through trial and error. And even the color palette of this collection is quite a fun, unintentional story, which we can talk about.
Yeah.
The color palette is what we call a fynbos color palette, and it wasn't intended. We knew that we wanted to develop this sort of safari collection that appeals to the tourists in our retail stores and appeals to the sort of game lodges and hospitality establishments in Africa. So we knew that we wanted a kind of animal design. And like you always say, it's
the fact that I didn't want to weave elephants at the beginning,
and we didn't want to weave a zebra in black and white. That's too obvious. So we kind of just sampled a bunch of different colors, and we started putting the colors together to form our collection. And we loved these colors together, and somewhere along the line, fynbos came up in our conversations, and I think that weekend we both went to separate places, and I was driving to Plet actually, and I started looking like at the mountains. I wasn't driving; I was in the passenger seat, and I was really looking like through. As you start getting to the wilderness, you start to see this sort of like ocean fynbos, and I started looking like through the fynbos on the mountains, and I started realizing that like I could see both these shades of green. It's like a mushroom mink color. It's pink, but it's also like the color of like some of the twigs in the fynbos. This blue, believe it or not, if you look through the felts, you do actually see this sort of color get picked up. And I came back and I said, oh my word, you won't believe it. I saw all 5 of these colors on my drive. And then Christine had her own story.
Yes, because I was walking around Silvermine Dam, and we stopped by there, and then the lake, the blue, and all the colors around, and the blue sky. I said, but actually that's our range, that's fynbos. But at the beginning, we were more on the bush colors, which I call this more the bush. This for me is bush colors.
Like a bush
and
green.
This is more fynbos. And I really love the bush colors, but I think for that, suddenly, it's not like we say, okay, we want to create something more safari and more bush, but by putting the colors together, it moves. And then we give a name, but it's not the opposite.
It's not always completely intentional.
It's our inspiration. And even in front of the loom, where I said, okay, let's try, I pick up some cones, and I said, let's try this color, and let's try this color, just to see. So, and it can be very quick. In 2 seconds, we put a new color together. It doesn't mean that we are going to keep it, but we test constantly. And then I wanted to put a stripe because I like this way of weaving. So obviously they don't have this kind of stripes, neither the zebra or the giraffe. But also we didn't want to do another leopard. We've got a few leopard design, but we love these animals, so bizarre actually. So I think it was nice to create something different. Which was great because when one of our big customers from Johannesburg Airport, when they saw the collection on the newsletters, they said, we need that. So for me, I can say that very openly because my idea of creating tea towel with a taste of Africa was as well for, I could see the customer,
Yes.
Jobo Airport shop, because 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, there were so many people going through that. And I find that some of the tea towel were really terrible. We shouldn't say that, but they were not like absorbing. And the designer did it. And I thought, we have so many visitors in South Africa. We need to tell them that we can also do something absorbent that will be beautiful and utile and
Utilitarian, functional.
Because I'm coming from France and I've been brought up with tea towel, absorbent and beautiful. So I wanted, that was also my way of giving back to South Africa something, to have welcomed me for 27 years.
I think you're absolutely right, because you nailed it completely. The tourism sector, the retail stores, you've created something for them to take home, and as a little souvenir of Africa. It has the beautiful animal prints on, but it also appeals to a proudly South African product that South Africans can purchase. So it's an absolutely a brilliant range.
But in 2014, I was too soon. It was too early. I mean, my first exhibition at Decorex, I framed all the tea towel with Sea Point Promenade theme, with Camps Bay, with trees and the mountain and the sea. So I have different themes like that. Then I was not there yet. And no one could understand what I wanted to sell. So, is it frames? Is it to go on the wall? No one could imagine that they would use that to wipe their hands in the kitchen.
Because it was too beautiful, that's why.
So I don't know, but so it took time, but thanks, and I can't not mention this wonderful customer. Can I mention a customer? Babylon Storen, with whom we have been working since 2015. And I'm grateful to them because we were so small and they trust that we would deliver. And that was the push we really need.
You know, we are a small business. You know, we're still classed as a small business in South Africa. We're employing 25 people, and we've had a very busy last 3 years of growth, which has been super exciting, and we've been very fortunate to have had that growth and to have had that business coming our way. And but you know, it's also all about steady growth and sustainable growth, and you know, reaching for the stars. How can I say this? Like, knowing where you're going. I'm a bit like a rocket sometimes. I know where I'm going, but there's so much that happens along the way as well, and you can't walk through every door that just presents itself as an opportunity and opens itself up towards you, and it's very hard not to, and because you know, a lot of these opportunities are exciting, but I think that's so we can cut this bit out, because I think it was one of the questions that was coming later about like, what would you say to like another young designer or something like that, but just along the lines of growth, I guess, you know, we've had an exciting last sort of like 3-4 years of growth, but we've been very, very strategic in where we've invested not only our financial resources but our time and our skills as well, and that's played a huge part into why we are successful today.
Thank you so much for sharing that piece of wisdom. I will really also take it forward in my own business as an interior designer. And then lastly, Donna, what is next for African Jacquard?
What is next? Well, I guess in terms of the near future, is we have our Kelp Forest collection officially launching next week.
Super excited about that one.
Yes, as are many people, because we actually did have an event in our store in June this year where we showcased the collection, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to do it in a different way, and that's, I think people have this idea that a brand, whether you're textiles or ceramics or whatever, fashion, whatever you might be, you come up with this concept, it goes through a product development cycle, it gets photographed, and boom, there it is, But our product development cycles are sometimes much longer than others. And we had developed for months our kelp forest collection. And we had so many beautiful pieces of fabric. And we wanted to actually showcase to our consumers, to the interior designers, to the world, the process that it actually took us to get there. We thought, gosh, we've got like over 30 samples. We don't want to just choose 5, and then the others sort of have to live in the dark and no one ever gets to see them. So we really kind of went about it a different way, and we wanted to show everybody the different phases of development. We had found this yarn from Austria called sea cell. It's a trademarked, patented yarn, and basically it is a yarn that's made from cellulose fiber and mixed with seaweed. And the seaweed kelp is harvested sustainably in Scandinavian fjords, so very cold bodies of water, and it's harvested in a very, like I said, in a very sustainable manner, in a very eco-friendly way. And it is then ground down into a fiber, mixed with the cellulose, and then spun into a yarn. And it's got all kinds of antioxidant properties to it. But what we just loved about it was we just thought, Christine can elaborate also on her excitement around this yarn when we found it, because it was something that she always thought of doing, but the yarn doesn't exist here in South Africa. So we had to find the yarn. So we brought a limited supply of yarn from Austria, and we started weaving with this yarn in this beautiful kelp design that we had developed. And we started mixing, and that's what we do. We mix the cotton with the linen, and the linen with the sea cell, and then we mixed all 3 fibers together, and we were just trying to really play with texture and pattern. And that's what we wanted to showcase. And that was a couple of months ago, or more than a couple of months ago. And we hit some hurdles along the way in terms of development. For example, to be very candid, a specific construction that we had developed, which was for bed throws. We had sampled with the factory multiple samples, and the moment we had approved that to go into production, the tension in the looms was incorrect for the construction that we wanted to weave, and it kept stopping the loom and it kept breaking the loom. And this was a problem now for production, right? So we had to go back to square one and start not redesigning, but redeveloping the construction. Because all of our products have this waffle in it with a flat weave, you can imagine the tension that exists between all these different yarns going in different directions. So that was a really interesting lesson and journey for us. And every week people were knocking at our door like, where's the kelp collection? You've showcased it like 3 months ago already. So now we are proud to say we've just photographed it, and it will officially be launching next week. This collection was very special for us and kind of on our doorstep, which I'll let Christine elaborate more on, and how special the story is to us, really.
Yeah, most of us have seen the movie, about the octopus.
My octopus teacher.
My octopus teacher, sorry, yes. And also, I'm lucky to live in Komiki and walk on Long Beach and see the kelp and lying on the beach. And I try, because I know a Standerton factory who are spinning cotton in South Africa. They are in the middle of South Africa. And I keeping telling them, can't you spin some kelp? And then I met some people harvesting the kelp. So we try to put them together, and maybe to get one day this fiber woven in South Africa. So that is like a sort of dream, but it could become real. one day. But so I wanted as well to design the kelp, and it took months. And also when Donna was talking about the sea cell, is that we have woven bamboo, we have woven mohair, we have woven cotton, linen, but when there is a new fiber, we never know how it's going to react. And the sea cell, that was a big surprise, because actually it does naturally waves. So for
it
me,
looks alive. The fabric looks alive.
And there is a really 3D dimension to that. So, yeah, we want to have more. And I could see we show it in Paris, we showed it just now at the 2 previous events. And the people are totally attracted by it. Yeah.
It sounds like there's a lot to look forward to at African Jacquard. And thank you, Christine and Donna, so much for joining us today in this episode and talking about your wonderful products that we can look forward to. And to our listeners, if you want to explore the beautiful world of African Jacquard textiles, visit their website or check out their latest collections at the retail store. Whether you're looking for something special or for your home or planning your next stay at a boutique hotel. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, keep weaving your own stories.